I hate to be the bearer of bad tidings on this show, but somebody on this desk has to be just a little bit objective when it comes to the King of Akron. And I hate to explain this to you, but you realize that that whole series, those 4 games against that team, was mostly fool's gold for your Cavaliers because Paul George is straight fool's gold. And I told you this before the playoffs, and I told you how fortunate your Cavs were to avoid, number 1, her Miami Heat. And again, that would have been with Dion Waiters, who was just coming back from his ankle injury. And they were even more fortunate to avoid the Chicago Bulls. Of course, that was with Rajon Rondo at that point, because Rajon Rondo's Bulls would have eliminated the Cavs in the first round if they had met head-to-head. But so you avoided both.
So the Heat and the Bulls did not play 82 games. So they had an opportunity to not only make the playoffs, but they could have been the 1 through the 5th or 6th.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I told you the day after the pairings were finalized that this would be a sweep. Your Cavs would sweep these woeful Pacers, and they did. And I told you that Paul George makes LeBron James look clutch because Paul George is nothing but a poor man's LeBron James. He's a LeBron wannabe who is short on every intangible that a leader and a superstar needs at the next franchise level. And if somebody invests heavily in Paul George, they're going to pay for it in the long run because he's just not that guy who can make that shot to win that game.
Would he have made the Celtics better?
Now he would have a little bit, but if you have to give up what could be the first pick in the draft and a couple other draft picks in the long run, I'm with Danny Ainge. I thought, way to go, Danny. Don't give up the future for that guy because he's not your future. He might have been your present. He might have helped.
Are they drafting Shaq or Elijah Wan? Because that's the only way they're beating LeBron in the next 2 to 3 years. You know that. I know that.
Back to the point here. So the point is that Paul George, anyone who thinks that Paul George was trying to play his way or talk his way out of Indiana is sadly mistaken, because all Paul George did this whole series was try to deflect blame for his shortcomings by pointing fingers at lots of teammates, including, in the end, the entire team, because let's go back to game 1. Paul George turned down not 1 but 2 last-second shots, both times giving the ball up to C.J. Miles, who finally said the second time, if you don't want to shoot it, then I'm going to try to shoot it. And Paul George had the audacity after the game to say he should have given me the ball back. What, with 2 seconds left, so you couldn't get a shot off?
I agree with you, Skip.
Game 2, Pacers were down 16 in the fourth quarter, and they had a chance to cut it to 2 with 1:11 left, but that guy, Paul George, missed a big 3 at that point. That's the shot to win the game, and that was at the King's house.
Or to pull him within 2 if he hits the shot, right?
Yeah, pull him with 2.
Okay.
Game 3, Pacers are up 25 at halftime because your Cavaliers gave up to the Pacers, the woeful 42-40 Pacers. They gave up 74 points in the first half. Remember that? Yep. And then here came the King of Akron. And boy, was he special in the third quarter especially. And where was Paul George? Boy, was he not special. Remember Paul George in that third quarter? He went 0 for 5, and he had the audacity after the game to say, you know what, I should have demanded the ball more from my teammates in the fourth quarter. I trust him, but I should have demanded the ball. You were 0 for 5. So you got 5 tries, and you made none, and you scored 0. You goose-egged in the third quarter. That's Paul George.
Oh, kind of like that goose egg that Russell had yesterday in the third quarter?
Don't put Paul George and Russell.
I just asked you a question, Skip. I'm agreeing with you.
It's so disrespectful. And then let's go to yesterday. Right on cue, the Pacers make a 19-4 run in the fourth quarter. So once again, your team is facing that issue. We can't close games. We're not sure how to close games because the King of Akron is not a closer. And I don't know what's happened to your man Kyrie. I don't know. He's in a slump or a funk or something's going on with him, or he's not healthy. I don't know what's going on, but he's not himself.
He gave us 16 in the third, but
okay.
he good.
Right. But when it's time to close those games, he's got to close them because LeBron's not that guy.
Did you see the 3?
I saw the 3.
Okay, did you see the D?
I loved the 3. I stood up and applauded the 3 because it cinched the fact that you owed Nelly a steak dinner. So I loved it. I was rooting for LeBron like crazy in the fourth quarter.
So what about those? Okay, the guy had 3 steals, forced Paul, took the ball from Paul George, took it from Stevenson. By the way, Lance Stevenson played an unbelievable ball game because if he doesn't play as well as he did, that game was a 20-point lead for the Cavaliers. So he steals the ball from Paul George, takes the ball right out of the hands of Lance Stevenson, candy from a baby, steals the ball from Thad Young, and gets the game in the rebound, goes to the free throw line, makes a shot, puts them up 4, and that's the ball game.
That's the ball
and you
game.
say, who the closer?
Yeah, who's the closer? And wait a second, the closer for the Pacers is not Paul George because with 1.9 seconds left, what happened? Right on cue, Paul George has a 3, and as he said, it was a good look, a pretty open look.
Great look.
Yeah, to win the game, and what happened with that shot?
Yeah.
It missed everything. I mean, it hit the backboard, but it missed the whole rim.
I agree.
Right?
The first game, he blamed C.J. Miles.
Wow.
The second game, he blamed Lance Stevenson because of his actions. The third game, he was like, okay, you know, I should have taken over more. But, hey, he trusted his teammates. Everybody was making shots. So there's really no need for you to be ultra-aggressive. Lance Stevenson's hitting threes. C.J. Miles is hitting threes. Miles Turner and Teague, all those guys are hitting threes. I believe what happened, Skip, is because he saw all those guys that were making shots early, is that it took him out of his rhythm. And so once he got out of his rhythm, as you mentioned, he went 0 for 5, it was hard for him to get back in rhythm. And by the time he started making shots again, the Cavaliers had gained too much momentum. And then once they got to the fourth quarter, Channing Frye was stroking it, Kyle Korver was got it going, and then, you know, LeBron, all he doing is facilitate, you know,
he's the best passer.
You know how Magic say, hey, he used to come down that thing, say, get that thing to the cap, what you want, Cap. Big game, James.
So, by the way, speaking of LeBron James, we just saw a hack an Andre in the game yesterday afternoon, Andre Robertson. You know, I'm wondering if the next round, you know, hack a LeBron. Are we going to see that? Because I got to tell you, in the fourth quarter of these 4 games against the Pacers, LeBron made 8 of 17 free throws. That's 47%. It's not maybe 42% that Andre shot from the line for the Thunder.
Do it!
You know? What do you think? Is it coming?
What's the likelihood of you going to be close enough for it to have an effect?
Well, what if they tend to play close games? All these games were close against the Pacers.
No, Skip. They played that one. I mean, look, close.
Huh?
Hold on, you got a grenade over there? Because I need to duck. Because if you close enough, can do some damage.
I got a horseshoe.
You ever play horseshoe?
Yeah.
Hey, you ain't getting no ringer. All you get those little 1 point because getting close. See, I was a ringer, Skip.
So in this series, LeBron went 22 of 38 total from the free throw line. That's 58%. I don't know. That's not like he promised like high 80s.